Hare Krishna. Just a minute, please. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Shri ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Jai Gaurchanda Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So I think last time in last realization program I requested that we will do every 4 weeks, the realizations. But as we had big festivals just recently, so I thought devotees may have read something from the scriptures or they have to share your realizations. Because realization meaning that what you have realized from your experience, from the studies, based upon the scriptures, So I thought, well, we should have this realization session now. But henceforward, Krishna willing, we will have every 4 weeks there. Okay? Right. Hare Krishna. So who would like to take the lead and start the realization process, please? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Bol.
Prabhuji, I haven't prepared much because I was reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'm on the first canto. I was reading the Kunti Maharani's prayers. So I'll just share a quick realization on the verse. I think it's Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 27, where Kunti Maharani was she's praying to Lord Krishna. First of all, I just want to thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for giving me opportunity to speak and organizing these nice programs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. And Hare Krishna, all devotees.
We have enough time, We've got 15 minutes per participant, so that's fine. Just don't go beyond.
Yes, Prabhu. Just because I'm working, so I won't be able to speak much. Yeah, so in that verse, the point I realized is Kunti Maharani was talking about Akinchana, who's materially improvised. And Krishna is the property of that person who's materially improvised. Regarding that that point, I realized that
impoverished.
Impoverished.
One who's poor, materially poor.
Yes.
Yes. Please continue. Sorry.
Thank you. Impoverished. Yes. So yes, on that point I was thinking, and because Srila Prabhupada, even there is a book about prayers of Kunti Maharani. And Srila Prabhupada given the quite elaborated purpose on that book, on each verse, and it's quite good and quite nectarian to read all of these, and I'm reading alongside with that as well. So it's quite quite a few points on that book, on the basis of Srila Prabhupada's lectures. But just one point I want to share that on that point, Akinchana, that on the face of it, when we can see that, okay, poor person, Krishna is the property of poor person. But the word Akinchana is not that. It's totally different. It's not like we see in India, like some people concocted this word Dridra Narayan, and and all, like Narayan can't be Dridra, you know. So, but Dridra is a different meaning than Akinchana. And the person, Akinchan person, is maybe he looks not very rich, but the real the state of mind, or the real his consciousness is that that he's fully dependent on Krishna. So the materially he is frustrated everything. He frustrated from everything. Like he's not have a little bit of interest in the material way, but at same times he can use everything in the service of Krishna. And materially, like we see devotees, they use material things in the service of Krishna. So, and one can ask that, then how come if one is a kinchana and he's a poor person, then how he can be interested in material things? So, Srila Prabhupada, given the, Srila Prabhupada set an example, like that's his example, that he used everything in service of Krishna, Yukta Vairagya. So he showed the example, and but with that point in mind, that we need to be a kinchana. It doesn't mean that we have to give up our riches or whatever we have. It doesn't mean that we just go begging. The real meaning, I realized that akinchana means that you're fully dependent on Krishna, and whatever you have, you don't take any ownership. You, in the matter of duty, you do everything, and take care of everything as you take care of this, like because everything belongs to Krishna. So all the things you have, it doesn't mean that you don't honor your duties. So I want to prepare a class on this topic as well, because it's quite a big lecture of Srila Prabhupada and many points. So I think yes, probably I will prepare something on that for future. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Thank you, Prabhuji. You started off very well. Akinchana is one of my favorite words. Akinchana Gochar. Akinchana Gochar. Yes.
Thank you.
Krishna is Akinchana Gochar. When we are materially completely exhausted, I don't want to do anything with this material world. That's when we are somewhere in the foundation of service to Krishna. Jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, those of you who joined us again a bit later on, wishing all of you a happy Diwali. And I'm sure you had a good time with your family, friends, and Govardhan Puja as well. Hare Krishna. Yes, please. Please continue.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I would like to wish everyone once again very happy Diwali, as well as happy Govardhan Puja. I just prepared a very small realization on Govardhan Puja. We all know, I'm sure we all know the story of the Leela, the pastime of Lord Krishna lifting up the Govardhan hill, after the cowherd men and women of Vrindavan were performing a sacrifice to Lord Indra in hope of getting crop and grain, to sustain in the coming season. But Krishna said we should instead worship Govardhan. And then Indra got very upset, and he rained torrents of rain down on Vrindavan. And then Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill with his, pinky finger. I'm sure we all know the story, and in quite a lot of detail as well. There was just one important point that I really thought was very important, is that even leading on from what we were discussing in the Wednesday class, is that Lord Indra, even Lord Indra, who is the king of all the demigods, did not realize that actually Krishna has come down to the material world, to earth, as in the form of a coward boy. And he also thought that, Krishna hasn't come down. This is not, God. So why are they stopping my worship? And so he, struck down his thunderbolt, there. So I thought that was very relevant to, what we were discussing. And that first of all, we, what is our position in understanding who Krishna is, and understanding Lord Krishna's pastimes? That even if the king of the demigods could not understand that actually it was Lord Krishna who was here, then what to speak of us? So it's, that's why what Srila Prabhupada has done, and, Srila Prabhupada's books and the whole disciplic succession is so important, because otherwise there would be no way for us to understand, to even begin navigating through devotional service. But Srila Prabhupada has laid everything out very nicely for us and in such a perfect structural manner. So that is what I had realized. Also, I realized that actually from the realization from the realizations given on Wednesday, that actually we're very lucky to be present in this, in this day and age, where 5,000 years ago Krishna came and lifted the Govardhan hill. And with Indra, and even Srila Prabhupada mentions in his lecture on Govardhan Puja in 1966, that even Lord Brahma was speculating on whether this is actually Krishna or not. So, we can understand from this that with the demigods not knowing, with not being aware that Krishna was here, how important it actually is that Krishna had come down to earth at this very point in this Yuga cycle, in this, reign of Manu. So much so, that 5,000 years ago does not seem like a very long time at all in the entire grand scheme of things. So, I thought it related very well to our discussion previously. And that it's a good reminder to us that what we have is a very important and crucial chance, where everything Srila Prabhupada has chewed all the information for us and given it to us in a very succinct manner, and all we have to do is consume it, internalize it, and be very surrendered and submissive and sincere in understanding this message. So in context of Govardhan Puja and the Govardhan Puja Day, that is my realization, that we're actually very lucky to have these pastimes in front of us, to actually be able to go to Vrindavan and see where Lord Krishna has performed his pastimes, see the Govardhan hill, which Lord Krishna lifted. So that is my realization. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Krishnadas, for a nice realization. It's very good. Yes, we had invited our intermediate and beginners program devotees also there, as a witness. So they were witness to us. representing Krishna, Okay, right. Please continue. Who would like to speak now?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I thought Sita Prabhu is going to start, but Sita was still thinking that who is going to start. So happy Diwali to all of you again, and happy Govardhan Puja. And I know you all are enjoying Kartik Mas month. I don't know. I have been with Amrish Prabhu for such a long time that actually I forgot Diwali. When we started, means we have got into this Krishna consciousness so much that all those festivities which we used to do, somehow, okay, now it is coming back. Okay, we need to do this also. And devotees come with different realizations. So, yeah, so for me, it's okay. We are doing this maybe because there are a lot of newer people coming. So that's why probably Amrish Prabhu is bringing those topics. But thanks for doing this, Amrish Prabhu. And thank you, Krishna Prabhu, for your realization. It's very nice to hear from younger people. And Sanjeev Prabhu is always a leader. That's a quality of a leader, Sanjeev Prabhu. So you always lead by example. And I always struggle to realize, to actually give realizations. I don't know what to say. But anyway, I'll give it a go. I actually asked a question in intermediate group, which nobody answered. I said, okay, probably Maharaj wants me to meditate on this and I should prepare on this. So that's what realization, actually, I try to get some points together so that we can meditate on what Maharaj is saying. We used to call.
What was the question?
Oh.
You said something, but it was a statement. I thought it was not a question.
I find it very interesting. Then your life will show the symptoms of understanding the truth. Why this is important for detachment from material association. But okay, I didn't put a question mark at the end, but I did ask a question. But anyway, I was trying to, Maharaj means we used to call him, you still call him, he's a walking Bhagavatam. And these pure devotees are actually role model to us. They don't belong to a certain community, certain class, no, they're not confined to a certain group or something. They're just above all those things. So Maharaj were walking Bhagavatam, and whatever mellows or quotes or there's so many statements, so many classes. I mean, yeah, so many people share this, and it's up to us that how much actually we get out of it, how much we take out of it. And but if you go further deeper into, then probably we can very easily connect it to a particular verse in Bhagavatam or maybe Bhagavad Gita or maybe both. So when Maharaj is saying here, and which Amrish Prabhu is very nicely quoted, actually has mentioned here, I'll quickly read, and I think I've got enough time because these people finish in less than 5 minutes. So as a 1 day, or sorry, 2020, I have to probably score more runs. I've got a lot of time. Okay, so we should have an eagerness to study and to preach. Preaching must be there, and unless you digest, you will not be able to preach. Digestion of Srimad Bhagavatam must be there. We are just touching the surface. We are not going inside. And surface too, we have a great desire that we should be respected as a preacher. People should hear me. Till we are hankering of this, hearing me, my glorification, etc. Our preaching will always be ineffective. Preaching will only be effective if you try to understand yourself, to remove your illusion. And maybe Krishna willing, if Krishna is merciful, then your life will show the symptom of understanding. the truth. That is the detachment from material association. His Holiness Mahavishnu Prasad Maharaj. So there are so many punches, there are so many statements, and particularly for somebody like me who's trying to engage at a stage into a preaching activity, and then you look up and look around, look at yourself, and then you try to actually figure out, try to understand that how we are going to talk to a new person, how we are going to actually, what we are going to tell him so that he can take this matter or this statement seriously. And yeah, that's a preacher. But again, there's so many things. Preaching is, what I have understood, that preaching is for us, not for the person whom we are preaching. And that's I fully agree with this. Whenever, like Sanjeev Prabhu said, that I want to give a class, means he want to study that verse, he want to realize more, and then he want to talk to us. And that's what I understand. So, okay, so coming back to my question about, during your life will show the symptoms of understanding the truth. Why this is important for detachment from material association. So understanding the truth is the key. And it's not about your own truth or about relative truth. It's about absolute truth. And when we understand absolute truth, we realize the constitutional position of the spirit soul, and then we select our association, with whom we associate, with whom we don't associate. So now this particular statement which Maharaj has mentioned here, which Amrish Prabhu has shared, this goes directly to the first verse of Canto 1 and first chapter, where they start with Satyam Param Dhimahi. That is the first statement, and their actually entire Bhagavatam is in that slope, in that verse. And then everything is elaborated. I think I have time to read that translation quickly so that I can bring my point up, because I'm going to take it to this, that how we detachment actually come from material association and material things also, once we understand the truth. So it says, O my Lord, Shri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of manifested universe. Number 2, he is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestation, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. Number 3, it is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages, this is number 4, by him even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. As one is bewildered by the illusory representation of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Number 5, only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifest by the reactions of the 3 modes of nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. Now it is concluding, I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representation of material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. So this is the definition of absolute truth. The last line of that verse says, Satyam Param Dhimahi. So that's what Maharaj is actually talking about. He's talking Bhagavatam all the time. It's up to us that how much we realize and how much actually we dwell onto this. Now, the second part, Maharaj talks about the realization. And I now understand, I'm telling you, all of you who are listening and who are not listening, that there is a purpose why Amrish Prabhu actually brings this realization class all the time. He somehow finds ways to actually bring, and it has to actually, we have to stretch our head, find our ideas, recollect our thoughts, and try to give a realization, which is actually a science, because it is all about self-realization. It's all about realization. There is nothing else. So I'll go back to my next verse, which I was going to talk. which talks about this relation, how important the relation is. And what happens when we actually realize. So this verse I have referred also, but I find this very interesting. This is Canto 3, chapter 26, verse number 20. Verse number 2. Jnanam niha shreya sarkya purushasya darshanam yad ahu varna yate tatte hridaya granthi bhedanam. So hridaya granthi bhedanam, but just by jnanam nishaya. So the translation is, knowledge is the ultimate perfection of self-realization. That's it. We don't need to read anything else. Knowledge is the ultimate perfection of realization. How perfectly we realize ourselves is knowledge. And that's what we are trying to do. That's what we are trying to achieve. And our progress depends on this, that how much we realize. And it says, I shall explain that knowledge unto you by which the knots of attachment to the material world are cut. So self-realization can actually cut the material world's knot. So Maharaj is saying the same point in his little quote, which Amrish Babu shares, that how this can happen and how this material detachment can actually go just by realizing. So that's why this realization clause all the time. So let us take advantage. Amrish Babu should do it more often. I know, but I know you organize, so it's up to you. And now what happens when we realize and when we get the knowledge? Bhagavatam talks about this very elaborately. And this is Canto 1, chapter 2, verse number 7. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Jana Tyasu Vairagam Jnanam Chaya Yadu Hetukam. So this automatically happens just by engaging in devotional service. The translation says, by rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. So Maharaj is actually saying that, rascals, you get engaged into some kind of devotional service. And if you get into everything just falls in place. Everything just happens. And now to conclude this about what Maharaj is saying and about what knowledge is, which we try to realize and based our realization, because we study Bhagavatam, we celebrate festivals, we do so many things. We have this class, we have that class, we do chanting, we do, but it's all that how much we have realized. We may have knowledge like a jnani, but unless we realize how to actually utilize that knowledge, realize knowledge means it can be further, we can discuss about this. That goes to Vigyan. But let us focus on Gyan at the moment. So this verse is what I'm going to refer is chapter 13, verse 8 to 12, which talks about knowledge, which Krishna very clearly says what is knowledge. It's also, I quickly read this translation and then probably conclude my point, because this is something, well, for me it was revolutionary, that okay, it's not how much degree you have got, how much material education you have got. Unless you have this, there is no knowledge. You are useless. You're a rascal. So it says humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, and self-control, renunciation of the object of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, non-attachment to children, wife, home, and the rest, and even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, resorting to solitary places, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. Again, it comes the same thing. Philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I thus declare to be knowledge, and what is contrary to these is ignorance. So he is giving numbers, how many of them, and anything not included is actually ignorance. And then Prabhupada starts writing a big purport. He actually says this is actually, he further goes, this is a process of knowledge. All those qualities actually can be developed just by following a devotional service, just by doing, but yes, obviously not whimsically, not mentally concocting, doing it properly. And the few lines Prabhupada writes, the process of knowledge is sometimes misunderstood by less intelligent men as being the interaction of the field of activity. So field of activity means those 24 elements. This is where the entire world is actually busy. They are trying to figure out how this has come into existence, what is after this, what is before this, what this happened. So Prabhupada, in the first line, he says the process of knowledge is sometimes misunderstood by less intelligent men as being the interaction of the field of activity. But actually, this is the real process of knowledge. If one accepts this process, then the possibility of approaching the absolute truth exists. So again, how we go to the absolute truth, which Maharaj is talking about, how do we then get detached just by knowing absolute truth? Because once you have these many qualities, everything becomes immaterial. This is not the interaction of the tenfold elements as described before. This is actually the means of to get out of it. These are the points which we are talking about, means how we actually get detached to these material things. Now to conclude this, the most important point in this, which Maharaj is actually very nicely mentioning, without which I think I will not be able to conclude my realization, is actually humility, amani tattvam, which is starting point. And it says, and which Maharaj has touched, that if you're expecting a preaching and if you're expecting somebody to appreciate you, or you're trying to impress someone, knowingly or unknowingly, you're not humble. Prabhupada writes here, as far as the knowledge outlined here, the items may be analyzed as follows. Humility. Humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. That's what Maharaj said in his mellow, which Amrisha shared. And that's the answer I found, that how we can actually understand absolute truth, what knowledge is, how knowledge can be acquired, and what is the most important quality we should have. One, of course, devotional service, but having humility to not expecting that somebody will appreciate and give you more likes. Yeah, that's not the way. So that's my reaction, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Avinash Krishna Prabhu. It was very nice realization. It's like it was a class, very nice. Short, compressed, though. In 15 minutes you finish. It's great. Wonderful. Yes, Maharaj, I remember, not that it's 20 years have passed, but when I started to give classes, started to do our programs 20 years ago, at the time Maharaj said, there's two things to me. He said, you study and you give your realizations. That's all Maharaj said. You study Prabhupada's books, you think over it and give your realizations. Speak your realizations. And the honesty with which that'll attract people, So, and that's what I try to, what I've gained, And this is what would please Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev both, that devotees give the realization. That's very nice. I'm so pleased all of you are giving your realizations.
Sorry, Prabhu, as you rightly said, I am hopeless in giving realizations. So I again end up giving a class.
No, I was actually appreciating it. It was very nice. It was very nice. Satyam Param Dhimahi. It is the Gayatri. So Bhagavatam starts with this Gayatri, It's very nice. But we have to be very careful, The Satyam Param Dhimahi, these big Bhagavatam Kathakars, we are from India, So many are from India. They give this Satyam Param Dhimahi. They also start their Bhagavatam class, their Bhagavad Sattva by Satyam Param Dhimahi. And I remember this big man. Even so many devotees from ISKCON follows him, reading his, listening to his class. I was told when they gave me this audio cassette so many years ago, video, that it is my puji, don't disturb anything, watch it and go. So this is how they were reverencing this particular person. He's still around. It's great, But this is how he defined Satyam Param Dhimahi. He says that Shukadeva Goswami, he did not he did not mention who is Satya, who is that Param Satya. Otherwise, people who are followers of Krishna would say, oh, hey, Krishna is Param Satya. Followers of Shiva would say, look, Shiva is Param Satya, mentioned here. So he is God. Ganesha, followers of Ganesha would say, Ganesha is, so many gods here, not Abrahamic like Jesus Christ or Allah. No. But he was focusing upon this. Now I heard this much I heard. I was very new, and I stopped watching after that. So this doesn't make any sense to me because let me bring up that verse. That particular verse starts in a particular way. Let me show this. Let me just try and search it out. Okay. My system is a little slow. Please excuse me.
I remember Maharaj used to say that even verse is as good as Bhagavatam. Now a few lines are as good as Bhagavatam.
Yes.
It's up to us that how sincerely, how deeply, how much we want to actually understand.
Yes, you are absolutely correct, Prabhuji. You're absolutely correct. Now, I'll show you this particular verse, okay? And then you tell me whether this verse refers to Krishna or anybody else, okay? So Avinash Prabhu has very nicely shared his realization. It's very good. There's an impetus for this. So we'll watch this. Now I'm sharing you this particular verse. This is the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now see, Janmadhyasya yato anyayad itaras. Excuse me, 1 minute. Janmadhyasya yato anyaya vad itaras tas chartheshva abhigna swarat janmadhyasya yato anyayad tene brahmarudaya adikavaye muhyanti yat surayah. Again, Janmadhyasya yato anyayad itarataras chartheshva abhignah swarat tene brahmarudaya adikavaye muhyanti yat surayah tejovari mrudam yatha vinimayo yatra sargo mrusha dhamna svena sada nirastakokam satyam param dhimahi. Here. Now, you tell me where is the proof that it is satyam param dhimahi is Krishna from this verse? Please. I'll start with the beginners program, intermediate program. Please tell me. Where is that? Anyone, please? It's not a test or anything, just.
Prabhuji, can you show the verse again on the
Yes,
screen?
yes, sure. I'll sing also again if you want to. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadiyasya Yato Anya Anvayad Itaratash Chartheshva Abhignah Swarat Tene Brahmarudaya Adi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Surayah Tejovari Mrudam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Tri Sargo Ambrusha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastakukam Satyam Param Dhimahi Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now see what is the verse here? Tell me. From this verse itself, you tell me.
Hare
Where is
Krishna, Prabhu.
reference to Krishna?
Prabhu, the starting, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
That's it. Why create all these complications? Such, and in that class, Bhagavad Sapta, people would pay so much money, and they would travel so much distance and sit for 7 days, morning till night, and that person says, this word Om Namo Bhagavate is he completely overlooked Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The very first line, and I was new. I didn't even know these words, but I did not make sense of this. I realized much later on that this Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and see the word synonymous. Let us see this here. So why we are saying this? Said you all are preachers of tomorrow, students of today, and students of tomorrow also. You'll be students all the time, but you have to be very clever in understanding. Now just see how Avinash Prabhu mentioned. So Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om is, O my Lord. Nama means offering my obeisances, Bhagavate, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudevaya, unto Vasudev, son of Vasudev, or Lord Krishna, the primeval Lord. Translation. O my Lord Shri Krishna, son of Vasudev, O all pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Shri Krishna because he is absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations and is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. As one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested, and by the reactions of the three modes of material nature, after factual, although they are unreal. They appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, who is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is absolute truth. You see? And then he went to say, this guy, oh, so you worship Shiva, accept him as God. You worship Ganesha, accept him as God. Don't say everyone is a God, you'll be nowhere. So what sort of bogus things are going on? And people come to listen to this person? You see, can't understand this. Can't understand this at all. Because people want to be cheated, you see. This is the reason why. And you picked up. You're just starting your beginner's program. And that's why I wanted to know. Our beginner's program devotee should pick up. Then it is our teaching is proper. You see, this is the point. Keep your eyes open. So very nice. Good realization, Avinash Prabhu. You give us the impetus to discuss this point. Don't forget this ever. Janma diya sayataha. It's from Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Bhagavatam starts from this particular Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai. Thank you very much. Please continue.
Just after what you have just shared, all those devotees from India particularly, those who are joining us, they are so interested in philosophy that I am actually blown away. I have come across the people, I talked to a lot of them, who actually try to give me ideas. they try to preach me also, but obviously I don't talk to them. But I would Suchi Purohit is here, Suchi Mataji, Mukunda Prabhu connected, and she just sent me a message that I want to understand this philosophy. What is this all about? Same with other devotees. They ask me such nice questions, Prabhu, that they are all interested in philosophy. They are actually very seriously looking towards us. Prabhu.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Hopefully, when they study Srila Prabhupada, that's what we do. We point them to study Srila Prabhupada, and follow. Don't create complications. It's perfect, perfect. And then the same reason why I mentioned that you can have Govardhan Puja at your home, who's stopping you? Because you don't want to cook, you want to go to temple or some other festivities. Somebody else wants to cook, and you want to have a party. Have party at home with Krishna. Who's stopping you? Of course, we can have that party also. But this concept is, I can't really understand, that people are not serious, they are not serious. They want to show they are serious. They want to be seen that they are serious. You see, very nice. Please continue. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I would like to share my realization. Yeah. So this is a realization that I wrote.
You can't show your
Yeah.
face, Parth, today. You can't show your face.
Prabhu, I'm actually outside of my home. I've come to my maternal grandparents' house.
Okay. No problem.
So
Wonderful.
there's a lot of people around. So yeah.
No problem. Please continue. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this realization I wrote when I was with my Dadaji, Amok Drik Krishna Prabhu. So we were like away from the city hustle bustle of firecrackers and everything. We were sitting quietly on our farm doing Damodar Aarti and lighting diya lamps and ghee lamps and everything. So I got a quiet place and I wrote this. So I'll just share this little thing that I wrote. Hare Krishna. Am I audible? Hare Krishna.
Yes,
you're-
you're audible, Parth.
Okay. Thank you. Diwali is one of the most popular festivals in the Indian calendar. The festivities comprise of firecrackers, ceremonial bathing, feasting, aartis, family get-togethers, and illuminations. The aesthetically appealing illumination dates back to many millennia when the jubilant citizens of Ayodhya welcomed Lord Ram back to their city after his exile. The Ramayana describes how when Lord Rama was exiled due to the misdirected intrigues of Kaikai, Ayodhya became almost like a ghost city. All its citizens were plunged into an ocean of separation and sorrow for 14 agonizingly long years. When Lord Ram finally returned, their heart's innermost longing was at last fulfilled. They spontaneously celebrated this joyful reunion of divine love by illuminating their houses. Apart from being a historical reality, this event also has immense relevance to our lives. Ayodhya is like our heart, and Lord Ram is the Lord of our heart, the supreme object of love and devotion for all of us. Due to unfortunate misconceptions, we too have exiled the Lord from our heart. Just as Ayodhya became a ghost town when Lord Ram departed, our heart too has become infested with negative and often self destructive feelings like anxiety, boredom, loneliness, depression, stress, prejudice, envy, anger, and hatred. And just like the citizens of Ayodhya, our lives too have become filled with emptiness and lamentation. There is one important difference between us and the citizens of Ayodhya, however. The citizens of Ayodhya clearly knew that their grief was due to the bereavement from the Lord. We, however, are often slow to recognize this root cause of our malice. We try to hide and forget the existential emptiness of our life by accelerating its pace in pursuit of mundane goals, wealth, enjoyment, entertainment, fame, power, and position. But these illusory substitutes for love of God offer only flickering titillations, not lasting fulfillment. Consequently, Despite the frenzied pace and jazzy gadgets that are the pride of our lives, we still remain largely unfulfilled. Historically, the import of Diwali is not the lighting of lamps, but the return of Lord Ram to Ayodhya. So our celebration of Diwali will always remain incomplete if we continue to restrict ourselves just to lighting lamps. Then how can we ever welcome the Lord back into our hearts and experience the essence of Diwali? Lord Ram answers in the Ramayana through his instructions, which inform us of our actual identity and purpose. We are all eternal spiritual beings belonging to the kingdom of God, where we eternally enthrone the Lord as the king of our hearts and rejoice in selfless loving exchanges with him. When we exile the Lord from our hearts, we exile ourselves from the world of endless love and come to this mortal world where we misidentify ourselves with temporary material bodies. Covered by spiritual amnesia, we play illusory roles and pursue illusory goals, but get only disappointment and distress. Though we exile and forget the Lord, He never forgets us and never actually leaves our heart. He just becomes unmanifest to our vision and continues to accompany and guide us our throughout all our adventures and misadventures in this world, eagerly waiting and inviting us back to his loving shelter by cultivating knowledge from the sacred scriptures about the Lord and his love for us and reviving our dormant love for him by chanting his holy names, we can invite him back to our hearts. Therefore, while lighting the earthen lamps or Diwali, let us also light our heart with divine wisdom and love. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, very nice. Parth, it was very, very good. You all are already Pandits. We should call you Pandit Parth now. Very nice. Avinash, what are you doing, man? Your family will abandon you, you know. You always say, why you are making young people in your family about Pandits now, you know. They're going to leave soon. They'll become Vanaprasthas and sannyasis immediately, you know. You lose your reputation, Avinash. Don't do all those things now. Ask them to go to the pub and disco and all that, you know. What is this? Giving such nice realization, you know. Love of God and all that, you know. Very nice. But one thing is there, you know, if somehow or other they remain serious, this younger generation, you know, and they study Srila Prabhupada's books, then I'm very, very hopeful that somehow or other they'll find time to study and share their realizations to people, you know, and make devotees. That is my real big hope, you know. It's so nice. All the best, Parth. So keep studying Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srila Prabhupada's books, and scrutinizingly study this, you know, and be humble. The humility will take you to Krishna. Very nice. All the best to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for your comments, Prabhu. Credit goes to someone else, not to you. But anyway, the point I was trying to bring out is that all those younger generation, Prabhu, those people who are actually connected to us for some time now, they very nicely share with me when they are able to chant, where they are not able to chant. And so I said, okay, we have already discussed this point, so don't worry, just chant. Yeah, so they are actually, they just share their heart. I mean, that shows their honesty. That's a very good quality.
Yes, perfect. You be honest at least with devotees who are tutoring you, you know. You can lie to others, no problem. Better not to lie to anybody. But if you have to lie, don't lie to your tutors, you know. Jai, Jai. Very, very nice. All the best. All the best. Hare Krishna. Any more, any more. Keep coming. More and more. Give me more. Give us more nectar. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, devotees. Thank you, Avinash Prabhu, Sanjay Prabhu, Krishna Samarpan Krishna Prabhu, and Parth Prabhu for your very nice realizations. Actually, yeah, especially Parth Prabhu's realization was very poetic. Actually, I thought he was just like reading from the book. I think, yeah, it was really nice. And actually, he partly shared what I wanted to share as well, because I was meditating on this point of Diwali, because Prabhuji put the subject matter. So I was meditating on that point. And as Diwali means, actually, it's very famous festival in India. It is just like a Christmas to us. And actually here, because we're working in a lockdown at this time, and especially actually for me as actually my work is very busy time, because we normally this month actually go through different audits and it's quite busy. So actually I wanted actually take a day off and actually celebrate Diwali as well, but everybody was also busy in my family, so couldn't able to actually prepare much. So always you feel a pressure from your friends and family to celebrate a Diwali, how they celebrate. So just like Parth Prabhu described, you had to go on, light the lamps, eat sweetened meat, meet people, and firecrackers is actually most important aspect for the Diwali. So I couldn't able to do any of that, but actually we just actually managed to actually go and associate with the neighbors for some time. But I was meditating on that point. But as Parth Prabhu very rightly pointed out, actually Diwali is not all about just lighting up diyas, or celebrating with your family members, because they miss the main point, where actually it is the celebration of Lord Ram's return to Ayodhya, after his exile. And it is about the actually victory of Lord Ram over Ravana, victory of good over evil, victory of knowledge over darkness. So, as we know, the Lord Ram, he was being a supreme personality of Godhead, one of his opulence, he's all famous, especially in India. People are very emotionally, sentimentally connected to Lord Ram, just like as they are connected to Krishna as well. So on Diwali, I was thinking on this point that not many people you will see that actually they are actually meditating, on Lord Ram. Rather, they are just, more about merrymaking, just enjoying with their friends and family. And that's what all about Diwali is nowadays. But for devotees, I'm pretty sure they meditate on Lord Ram and his pastimes and try to learn, because Lord Ram actually by his example teaches us a good behavior, as Srila Prabhupada says in his purport in Srimad Bhāgavatam. So I was meditating on some of the verses in Canto 9, chapter 10, verse 51 to 55. So the very first verse, 51, Tretayam Vartamanayam Kalaha Krita Samo Bhavat Rame Rajani Dharmane Sarvabhuta Sukavahe. So Srila Prabhupada Ji ki jai. Lord Ramchandra became king during Treta Yuga, but because of his good government, the age was like a Satyuga. Everyone was very religious and completely happy. And so because Lord Ramchandra mercy, he was present personally. Even it was a Treta Yuga, everybody was actually, everything around, everyone is just like a Satyuga. And that was actually described in the next verses. I quickly read the translation because of time limit. 52 says, "O Maharaj Parikshit, the best of Bharat dynasty, during reign of Lord Ramchandra, the forests, rivers, hills, mountains, states, 7 islands, 7 seas were all favorable in supplying the necessities of life for all living beings. When Lord Ramchandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was the king of this world, all bodily, mental suffering, disease, old age, bereavement, lamentation, distress, fear, fatigue were completely absent. There was even no death for those who did not want it." So actually, these are the actually glories of Ramaraj, as is a lot of people, especially the people, or actually my grandfather, and I always heard, they always used to refer to Ram Raj, And this is actually a description of a Ram Raj, it is just like a Satyuga. And if you actually read, when I read it, it's hard to believe, what is written there. Actually even the environmental, elements like rivers, mountains, they were actually favorably supplying all the necessities to everyone. And actually diseases, they were completely absent, mental disease or, bodily diseases, any bereavement, everyone was completely happy. So it's hard to believe for me, actually, because the age we are living in, age of Kali, this is totally contradictory, because especially now we are going through this actually COVID, COVID age and lockdowns and all that. If you actually, means I was just checking, I think for us, because we are actually associating with the devotees like you, we are always engaged, we are always actually meditating on this transcendental science, and we do not feel that actually. But actually, as I hear the stories from general mass of people, this mental diseases actually increasingly become very big issue, and that is actually coming through, as you can see, and people are struggling. Actually, people are actually struggling now. Actually, I was just speaking to one of the friend a few days ago, and even their actually jobs are in risk, they're getting the reduced payments, they are struggling to meet their mortgages and all that. So anxiety is everywhere, uncertainty is everywhere. So this is completely opposite of a Ram Raj. And as Parth rightly pointed out, because we are suffering this, because we are actually exiled, Lord Krishna, Lord Ram from our hearts, we are away from God, because we think that actually we, firstly, actually most of the, before I came to this Krishna consciousness, actually, we hardly actually meditate on who God is and what is our relationship, So even he is in our heart, we completely ignore him. So Srila Prabhupada says that everyone desires kingdom of God, but you cannot have kingdom of God without God. So he's very right, you cannot actually enjoy the kingdom of God without God, First, you have to devote yourself to the God, and once you are rightly engaged in his service, then you will enjoy the kingdom of God, Ram Raj, what is stated here. And for that actually very point, actually, when we celebrate Diwali, I think our focus should increase, we should meditate more on Lord Krishna and Lord Ram, and what actually we try to learn from their pastimes, as Lord Ramchandra is very famously known as, Ek Patni, Ek Vachni, Maryada Purushottam, Shri Ram, I heard this actually sentence when since I'm a child, and at that time it didn't mean much, but actually now actually we are studying the scripture, and he has actually, set example, especially for the householders, how to become actually perfect person, He was very faithful to his wife, Sita Devi, he always kept his word, and he was totally discharged, you know this from his past times. So that is actually, I think I need to actually learn. And on the occasions like this, like Deepavali, we should actually meditate more and more. As Srila Prabhupada says that actually, even we are in this Kali Yuga, which is completely opposite of Ram Raj, there is one good quality of this Kali Yuga, where there is a very famous verse where it says, Kaler dosha nidhi rajan asti ehiko managuna kritanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha paramrijat. My dear king, although Kali Yuga is full of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from this material bondage and be promoted to transcendental kingdom. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was actually Krishna, Lord Ram, appeared in this actually Kali Yuga. And can you hear me? Who appeared in the Kali Yuga and who has given this precious gift of actually holy name. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Namayeva Kevalam, Kalau Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva, Nasti Eva Gatiranyatha. So there is no any other way, there is no any other way but to chant the holy name of the Lord. And by actually, if you actually take this message to our heart, and actually if we engage, chanting the holy names and try to actually purify our heart, because as Parth Prabhu said that actually Lord Ram lives in the heart, and there is very nice pastime. Actually, Srila Amrish Prabhu shared this actually verse from Ramayana, in one of this lecture where he says, where Lord Ram actually, asked Valmiki Muni, where he should stay. I won't go into details, but actually when I heard that actually verse and how that was described, so Lord Ram actually reside in a heart of a pure devotee who don't know anything but Lord Ram. Even for the glance of his lotus feet, he's happy to give away, the pleasure of the three worlds. To that extent, who's devoted in the heart of those devotees, Lord Ram resides. So we are presently being in this Kali Yuga, we're all contaminated. And it's only way for us to actually, if you want Lord Ram to actually, enter in our heart or be seated in our heart, then we have to purify this heart with the holy name by actually regular chanting, So by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there is only one hope that we can able to actually clean our heart, So if you want to actually install a deity in temple, you have to clean the actual temple, make it very nice. So if you want Lord Ram to appear in your heart, you need to actually clean your heart first with the holy name. As you say, Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhaumaha Davagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaram Vidya Vadu Jivanam. So this Cheto Darpana Marjanam process is very important to actually chant the holy name, and actually we can able to clean your heart. So we can actually able to realize the Lord Ram in our hearts. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sridhar. Very nice realizations, as usual. I like your realizations. It's very practical too. Enjoy.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Actually, means I wanted to make a comment on what Avinash Prabhu shared.
Yeah.
This actually, the point about actually sharing the realization means all credit goes to you, Prabhuji, because I still remember actually, when we used to have this Saturday programs, you made a lot of efforts to actually get us to talk, Initially, nobody used to talk. Everybody used to sit. And I remember I used to go to, person by person. And sometimes I feel uncomfortable because I feel like I am pushing them to speak. Nobody used to speak. So actually, you invented this, Prabhuji, actually sharing realization. And as Avinash Prabhu said, actually sharing realization takes a lot of thinking. You have to actually read, understand, meditate, and actually ask yourself the question, what is in it for me? So unless we have this realization, we don't really understand the real message. So it's all glory to you, Prabhuji, and Avinash Prabhu as well for sharing this very nice realization.
All glory to Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada. Actually, my wife, she is also equally a person who should get the credit, for the realizations and all that. We used to think so much. This was in our Newland program, physical program. And before that, in our house, we would make people give realizations. And they would not. They would all come. And there also they would come in the late, after the program was over. And at the end, they would come, for the prasadam. So, although the program started at 6 o'clock, prasadam is at 9 o'clock, they would come at 8:30, So, that's how she thought, why don't we make prasadam first? They said, yeah, next week onwards, prasadam first. Everybody was on time. And similarly with this, and yes, it's very good. You did very nice service taking the microphone to everyone, and they would honor prasadam and you would go and make them give their realizations. And that's how we have got our old realizations. That's past, it's a history now. You will tell this to your children when they grow up. Now you know how to grow up. And your grandchildren, this is how we used to do, Yes. So, as Maharaj would say, that what is today is reality. What is today is reality. Tomorrow, this will become a dream. So one should not dwell in the dream. One should learn from the dream and stay in the reality of the next day. You see? So we can't change what has happened in the past, but we can change the future. But this is very, very fundamental, you know. These are the core values with which we should lead our life. That we cannot keep on dwelling in the past unless and until we are going to learn from it. Otherwise, the past will haunt you. Take it from me. This is my realization. If you don't learn from the past is going to haunt you. Your future will be destroyed. And you have no one else to blame but yourself for the future to be destroyed. So that's why we learn and we don't dwell, but it becomes a dream. So what you have today, you must make the most of it. You know, especially for the younger generation, these are very, very wise words. What is true today, it may be simple, yeah, that's all right, but it's coming from a very wise man, the wise personality, that what you have today is going to be a dream tomorrow. So cherish this and live today. You must live today. Don't live in the past. You know, and this is what I realized, that if you do not learn from your past, then you will always live in the past. You will not be able to live today. Take it from me. Because you'll make the same mistakes again and again and again and again. Yeah. What do they say in management? What do leaders do? Different things. Who knows this? Management, youngsters. What leaders do? No, not the old, not the serious, or younger ones. So what do leaders do? They do new things.
Leaders don't do different things, they do things differently.
Yes. Leaders don't do different things. They do things differently. Remember this point. And always, what you have sown today, you'll get a fruit, or you'll get a tree tomorrow. Guaranteed. So it's very important to know what you're going to sow today in seed form. In your children, in your own self. Because if you're going to waste your time, or if you're going to choose, whatever choosing you're going to do, decisions you're going to take, those decisions will, what to say, it will make your life. No, it will, what is the word, Krishnadas? Direct your life. No, it will mold your life. It will become reality of tomorrow, basically. So be very careful. Be very, very careful. And do not, you be humble enough to learn from yesterday. Very nice. And if I had not listened to Maharaj so much, even now when I'm talking to you, all those words of Maharaj, at that time what I felt, I don't know how I can express it. I felt that sense of overwhelming feeling that, oh, I must share this with everybody. I must share this with others. And it was for me also and for others also. But how will I do this? I don't have the capacity, you know. But I'm hoping that whatever I've said, whatever you heard, whatever you read, you will share one day to your downline, to your group people, to your teams. And this parampara will continue. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. All the best. Please, others please. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much, Amrish Prabhu, for giving us an opportunity to give our realization. Actually, for me also, what you are saying and Shital Prabhu was telling, I was not really ready to give my realization, but that all, what I say, that inspiration, it all get from my senior devotees and Amrish Prabhu, you. And also, I also mentioned to you before, sometimes I don't remember, but you, the way you supported me in that time. So I thought, okay, whatever realization I'm giving you, it is not for anyone, but it's to glorifying the God. So that also I think last time Shital Prabhu mentioned that point. And then I thought, okay, whatever little bit knowledge. I really enjoy listening to you and all the devotees from Namata group and the youngsters. And I get inspiration from everyone. So I try my level best to give my realization. Today, that is from Kartik month. Mother Yashoda binds Lord Krishna. So actually, Mother Yashoda was thinking the Krishna is a child. Although he is beyond the reach of all senses, she endeavored to bind him to a wooden grinding mortar. But when she tired of bind him, she found that the rope was, what she used the rope was too short. It's like a 2-inch shorts. She gathered more ropes from the house and added to it, but still she found the same shortage. In this way, she connected all the ropes available in house and tried to knot, but final knot was added. She saw that rope was still 2 inches short. Mother Yashoda was smiling, but she was astonished how it is happening. In attempting to bind her son, she became tired. She was perspiring and the garland of her head fell down. Then Lord Krishna appreciated the hard labor of his mother and being compassionate upon her, he agreed to be bound by the ropes. So, like last time, I think, Amrish Prabhu, you mentioned that no one can conquer Krishna, no one can easily, but if you surrender, that too with, surrender to Krishna with the devotion, then Krishna accepts and then he allows you to bind. So it's same thing happened here, that Yashoda was performing his own selected pastime. Of course, no one can control the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only the pure devotee, when they surrenders himself unto the lotus feet of the Lord, the devotee never forgets his own position of surrender. Similarly, the Lord also feels transcendental pleasure to submitting himself to the protection of the devotee. This was the example of how when we surrender to Krishna, so what result you get it. So one has to be surrender and please Krishna, not with the motive, not the different motivation. Motive. So one has to really surrender to Krishna. So Krishna is a supreme bestower of all kind of liberation to his devotees. But the benediction which was bestowed upon Mother Yashoda was never experienced even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, the goddess of the fortune. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as the son of Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, is never so completely known to yogis and speculators, but he is easily available to his devotees. So he is appreciating, after binding her son, Mother Yashoda engaged herself in household affairs. At that time, bound up the wooden mortar, Krishna could see a pair of trees before him, which were known as Arjuna tree. The great reservoir of pleasure, Lord Sri Krishna, thus thought of himself, Mother Yashoda first of all left without feeding me sufficient milk, and therefore I broke the pot of yogurt and distributed the stock, butter, and charity to the monkeys. Now she has bound me up to the wooden mortar, so I shall do something more mischievous than before. And thus he thought of pulling down the 2 very tall Arjuna trees. So there is a history behind the pair of Arjuna trees in their previous lives. The trees were born as the human son of Kuvera, and their names were Nalakuvra and Manigriva, which we every day see that. Fortunately, they came within the vision of the Lord in their previous lives, and they were cursed by the great sage Narada in order to receive the highest benediction of seeing Lord Krishna. So this benediction curse was bestowed upon them because of their forgetfulness due to the intoxication. So here what I understand from this here is that Lord Krishna never ignores the pure devotees, he remembers, and he gives when the time comes, he gives a benediction and he gives the liberation. So this is my realization from Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Supan Prabhu. Very nice. Very nice. Hare Krishna. You're also growing very nicely, you know. Becoming a big Pandit now. All the best. Hare Krishna. Yes, please continue.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. So I always after listening to a lot of these realizations, especially people my age, I always feel very underqualified to give these realizations because everyone else here has such nice, thoughtful, and impactful things to say, and I'm always narrating silly stories. So I always feel that. But and as Sopan Prabhu just rightly mentioned, that we're giving these realizations for our own benefit and for the glorification of the Lord and not to impress anyone. So with that, I would like to narrate yet another silly story. So I recently had my exams, right? So every day, I had 2 exams that were right before the Sunday class. So every Sunday I used to kind of have this little debate with myself. So every Saturday, sorry, that whether to kind of not attend the class because it's a long class, and because we were in our final year and these were the final examinations, so none of us were very much well versed with the material or with the things that we had to prepare. So I always kind of thought that maybe not attend the class on Sunday, and Amrish Prabhu will understand, he always understands. So even this time, let's do the same thing. But this time I remembered Soumya Mataji's realizations on her exams. So I thought that, Amrish Prabhu always says that give Krishna a chance. So I thought that, okay, I'll try harder this time, and I'll finish the syllabus beforehand as much as I can. So I woke up at 3 or 4 in the morning and I started studying. And I was taking break in the middle, and I was chanting. So I completed my rounds as well. So it was very difficult to pull off, but there was still a lot of syllabus left, right? I woke up at 3, 4 in the morning, and I randomly just picked 2 chapters. I had 4 chapters left. I picked 2 chapters and I completed them before your class. And after I completed, after the class was over and everything, and I was talking to myself that so much syllabus is still left, and I was taking a little bit of stress. And just immediately, a half an hour later, a friend of mine comes to my room, and I had attached a post-it on my wall of the chapters that I had left. And she comes to my room and she says that these are the chapters that you've not done yet. And like, yeah, these are the chapters that I'm yet to do. And she's like, these are not in the syllabus. And I was like, what? Yeah, so I had completed all the syllabus at 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and I was already done with my entire syllabus and I was thinking this, that, if I did not have this class at 12 in the morning, I would have probably slacked off a lot and, done these things really slowly. But because I had this class, I was, very steadfast that no, I have to finish this, because I know myself that if I hadn't completed the syllabus before the class, or at least a good portion of the syllabus, I would be a little distracted that, this is something still I have to do, and I would still not be able to focus. So I was thinking about this point that, and this happened, and I had 2 exams, right? Two exams like this. And one of the exams this happened, and on the other exam, I was talking to a friend of mine just on Saturday night, and he was telling me that the amount of syllabus that you have left, it will take a good 10 hours to complete. So again, I started panicking a lot that how is this going to happen? I have this class. And again, I was thinking that, maybe I can just not attend the class again. But I was like, no, this worked the last time. This will work again. I don't know how, but it will work again. So I woke up at 3 or 4 in the morning and I started finishing my syllabus. And to my surprise, to my absolute surprise, whatever he said that will take at least 10 hours to complete, it got completed in like 4 or 5 hours easily. And again, I was able to attend the classes and everything happened very nicely. And I was thinking to myself that, a lot of my peers who did not have a 2.5, 3 hours long classes on the weekend, they were also preparing for the same exams, but they were probably not able to finish their syllabus on time as well. and their exams probably also did not go as well as mine did. And I was thinking that in one of the classes, we were discussing this point that Amrish Prabhu mentioned, that in order to know Krishna and in order to love Krishna, you have to give him time, right? That's very important, that you have to give him that time, regardless of whatever happens. So, and I was thinking about this point that there is no loss in even giving the time, because if you give time to Krishna, he returns it back multifold to you, because everything becomes like a lot more easy. Like when you take time out of here and give it here, don't think that your material things will suffer in any way, because they become even better. So I was thinking when I read this point somewhere as well, that when you give time to Krishna, he gives it back to you. He takes away nothing from you, and there is this immense gain from everything. So and I was just taking this as a takeaway for myself, that I have to do this. Like if I don't give time to Krishna, because there are a lot of excuses to not give that time, but if I do give that time, I will never suffer a loss because of it. And I also wanted to say this one thing, that I just to appreciate these realization classes while I can, that they first of all, they inspire me to read more things, so that I have something to, as everyone said, that you read a lot, you study a lot, so that you have something to talk about. And something that very specifically happens with me is that I try to look for things in my life that have Krishna's hand in them. I try to look for Krishna's hand in things in my life that I probably wouldn't have otherwise, because I think that maybe something will happen and something interesting will happen, and I'll have something to talk about in the realizations class. So it always kind of inspires me to find Krishna, or to look for Krishna in the mundane things in life. So I'm really thankful for these classes, and I'm really thankful to you, Amrish Prabhu, for making my exams go so well. And and just thank you for giving me this opportunity. And Hare Krishna.
Please, please. Thank you very much. Actually, the credit goes to Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, and Srila Prabhupada. I'm completely dependent upon him. Please don't give me any this thing. This is a fact. I'm not saying this for people to get some no, but you're good. This is not the reason. This is the fact. So thank you very much. If there's anything good which has come out in your life, in your association with Hare Krishna weekend, this for all of you. Anything good has come out is only and only because of His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev. And if anything not good has come out in that relationship, that is because of me only. Because this is my shortcomings, and this is a fact. This cannot be changed. Now, I dug out one. I think I shared once with other devotees. One Mangalacharan prayers by Srila Gurudev, Ramcharitamanas. Many a moon ago I had shared with devotees. I think some of you may not have heard it. So, Maharaj would be very happy, Well, I'm seeing all these new devotees giving such nice realizations. What is this, man? You're doing, what is this you're doing, man? You should be punished, Maharaj would say. Ambrish should be punished. You are making everybody mad, Actually, it is Maharaj doing it. So listen to this, very nice. Those who have heard it, very nice. It's worth again. Even at that age, Maharaj must have been, 80 plus at this age. And this was, I think, sung in probably in Auckland temple, in I think that Radha Krishna temple. It was doing Ram Navami class only around that time. Okay, and this was given to me by one of the devotees from Gaudiya Math. He has given me this audio. So please listen very carefully. I'll give you this thing also, the um, um, English translation too as we go. Yeah, 1 second, please.
नान्यं स्पृहा रघुपते हृदयस्मदीये सत्यं वदामि च भवान् अखिलन्तरात्मा भक्तिं प्रयच्छ रघुपुङ्गव निर्भरां मे कामादिदोष रहितं कुरु मानसं च अतुलितबल नान्यं स्पृहा रघुपते हृदयस्मदीये सत्यं वदामि च भवान् अखिलन्तरात्मा भक्तिं प्रयच्छ रघुपुङ्गव निर्भरां मे कामादिदोष रहितं कुरु मानसं च अतुलितबलधामं हेमशैलावदेहं धनुजवनकृशानो ज्ञानिनाम् अग्रगण्यम् सकलगुणनिधानं वानराणाम् अधीशम् रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातजातं नमामि.
Hare Krishna. So nice it was, no? Very melodious. Real nectar, It'll melt your heart. Everyone's heart. So this is from the Sundarkand invocation shlokas. Yeah, very fortunately, this devotee searched me out and gave me this. Hare Krishna. Yes, please continue your realizations. Hare Krishna. Done? Looks like we're finished. Yeah, we got 20 minutes to go. We can do a class now. What's going on?
Hari Bol Prabhuji, I just need 1 second. I'm just going to give my realization. Just 1 minute. Hare Krishna. Sorry about that. First of all, wishing everyone a very happy Diwali. And thank you very much for all the wonderful realizations for all the devotees. And I was also thinking on the same lines as Parth Prabhu and Shital Prabhu, and I was thinking, there were some points that I wanted to bring across, and I was like, okay, now it's kind of the same thing, but I'll still try to give my realization. It was really wonderful. It was very nectarian to hear. And so yesterday and day before, when we were working, I was very busy as well, similar situation. And I wanted to spend some time, just take some time off and, have a nice celebration at home for Diwali. And I was looking forward to the weekend because I knew that that's a day when, no matter what, it's your day, you can do what you want to do. You're not bound by any work commitments or anything like that. So I was very excited. I was very, very tired on Friday, but I was very excited, like mentally very excited and enthusiastic. And when I was doing whatever little I was, like lighting the lamps and just trying to decorate the house and then clean the house a little bit. And the same thought came to my mind that, what is it that we're trying to really do here? I mean, this is Lord Ram coming to Ayodhya, and all the citizens of Ayodhya are welcoming Lord Ram, and is also an occasion for welcoming Lord Ram and Sita Maya in our hearts, really. And then the same thought came to my mind that, okay, I'm cleaning the house, I'm cleaning everything, but I need to clean my heart for Lord Ram to appear into my heart. And then I was thinking, but my God, there are so many things in this heart, which need to be removed first so that Lord Ram can reside. For example, if you are, I remember Krishna Das, when he had his school exams, which were like his Cambridge exams, so they had to go to the school and give the exams. So I used to always tell him, you make sure you've taken your pen and your calculator and all those things. Have you taken everything? Have you taken water? It's very important you drink water, because you might have anxiety, like everybody's kind of nervous. And he used to always tell me, Mom, you always tell me these things, but look, I've got everything. And they had to actually take the calculator and everything in a transparent plastic bag or something like that, anything where it can be seen what is inside, so they are not doing something wrong or like that. So that was one thing. And then the water, he said, we're not allowed to take our water bottles. And I said, well, you need water. It's like, no, it's there, we have it there, so I don't need to take it there. And then it's similar, like when you're passing through the airport, you have to put your little cosmetics or whatever in a bag which they can see. Then if you're going, for example, you're climbing to say you're climbing a mountain, and you carry all these bags, lots of baggages with you, food and clothing and this and that. But then you go to this mountain and you realize that actually you don't need to carry all these things, they're already there. Then obviously you will reduce that baggage, your load, So I was thinking, we have all these baggages, we have all these attachments to so many things, all these misunderstandings, understandings, our thinking, and how we see things. Everybody's so different, the judgments and everything is there. And envy and pride. How do you remove all these things? You need to remove all these baggages before, clean your heart with all these things, before you allow Lord Ram to enter in your heart, Lord Krishna to enter your heart. It's like if somebody is coming, to your, even to your home, or you're organizing an event or anything like that, then if there is some important VIP, then you will obviously make more effort. You will plan for so many days. You will make so much effort to have everything spick and span, everything is in control, everything is organized. You know how we used to have our festival of Krishna, it reminded me of that. So much thought goes into that. The Prabhujis and the Matajis, we have the meeting, we will discuss how we're going to do even small little details. I remember my Prabhuji discussing about small things as well. So much, taking care of everything, and then you organize the event and then it's successful. So this is to welcome the great, devotees for the program. And here we're talking about welcoming the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna and Lord Ram. So when you have to make a place for them to reside in your heart, then you need to clean that place of all these anarthas. And the thought came to my mind that how do you then wait for all these anarthas to get out of your heart, and then one fine day it will happen, and then Lord Ram will appear in my heart? Well, Srila Prabhupada says, this question was asked to Srila Prabhupada about, that so many anarthas, so many things are going on in our mind, and then we are chanting, how is it going to work? And Srila Prabhupada said this, that, Maya is very strong and she will always and always try to interfere in your devotional service. But as rightly pointed by Sheetal Prabhu, but if you chant very sincerely, then your heart will be cleansed and all the anarthas will get out of your heart. And then you can welcome Lord Ram and Lord Krishna for it to be a place for them to reside. The only one thing that really came to my mind was that there's this verse. Probably my video will be off if I read it, but I want to read this. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 11, verse 6. Apratam nastvaya kim tu kim no Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwaraha Yanno Antardidayam Vishya Tamoham Swarosi Rosisha. So I'm just going to read the translation. O Lord, you are the master of the entire universe. What have you not given to us? You have entered the core of our hearts and dissipated the darkness of our ignorance by your effulgence. This is the supreme gift. We do not need a material donation. And the purport is not very big, so I'm going to read it and then I'll just give the context. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Dhruv Maharaj was offered a benediction by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he replied, "Oh my Lord, I'm fully satisfied. I do not need any material benediction." Similarly, when Prahlad Maharaj was offered a benediction by Lord Narasimhadev, he also refused to accept it and instead declared that a devotee should not be like a vanik, a mercantile man who gives something in exchange for some profit. One who becomes a devotee for some material profit is not a pure devotee. Brahmanas are always enlightened by the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the heart. Sarvasya chaham ridhisanya mataha smritir jnanam apohanam sha. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 15. And because the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are always directed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are not greedy for material wealth. What is absolutely necessary they possess, but they do not want an expanded kingdom. An example of this was given by Vamandev. Acting as a brahmachari, Lord Vamandev wanted only 3 places of land. Aspiring to possess more and more from a personal sense gratification is simply ignorance. And this ignorance is conspicuous by its absence from the heart of a Brahmana or Vaishnava. So the context of this is when Lord Ram has when he's in Ayodhya, and he has given a lot of his kingdom to the Brahmanas, and he was very affectionate and favorable to them. And so, as a in return to that, this is their conversation with Lord Ram. So, in the same spirit, the one devotee I always think of about how should you be, how should you behave, and then I always think about the best devotee of Lord Ram. That was there were so many, but always remember Hanuman, Lord Hanuman, because he literally opened his heart, and all you could see there was Lord Ram and Sita. So I remember that there were some early disciples of Srila Prabhupada in their realizations saying that we should really see if Srila Prabhupada's eyes, inside his eyes, has he stuck Krishna's picture or something like that, this kind of realization. So they literally were so amazed at how Srila Prabhupada was seeing Krishna every time and thinking of Krishna every time. So in that literal sense, hopefully we can get rid of all the anathas by having nice association of wonderful devotees like all of you, and achieve that one day there will be nothing else but only Lord Ram and Sita Maya and Lord Krishna and Radharani in our hearts. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for your realization. Very nice.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much, all of you, for your nice realization. Thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for giving this opportunity to share our realization. Actually, my realization is same as Krishna Samarpan Prabhu shared before about the Govardhan Hill worship or puja. So my daughter was preparing for her puppet show about the Govardhan Hill, and we were going through this story about the Govardhan Hill. So we all know the story that the villagers were, they used to worship to Lord Indra because he's giving rain. And then Krishna said to his father, why we don't worship Lord Govardhan Hill? Because he is giving us everything, the food to us, the grass to the cows and all. So we should worship Govardhan Hill. And his father and all the villagers was agreed, and they worshipped Govardhan Hill. And Lord Indra got angry, he started to pour the rain, and there was thunderstorm. And then Krishna lifted the Govardhan Hill and saved the village peoples and saved all his devotees. So when I was thinking about it, then my realization is that as Krishna said that we should worship the Govardhan Hill, so we should be thankful or always grateful to those who are serving us. So even in the spiritual life or material life, because in spiritual life, our spiritual master, Shiksha Guru, or all the devotees whoever is helping us in this path of devotional service, to progress in this path of devotional service, we should be grateful to them. And then I was thinking about, in the point of view of Indra, how he got the angry. He forgot that his position is like, he forgot that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So we should always remember that Krishna is always the superior than everything. The third point, what I realize is how Krishna asks everyone to come under the shelter of the Govardhan Hill. Even he was a very young boy, all the villagers had a firm faith on Krishna that it will not harm us when we come under the shelter of that Govardhan Hill. and Krishna lifted that one. So the realization is that when Krishna is there, no matter how big problem is there, it will get solved, because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he will save us from all the anxieties and all the problems. So this is my realization for today. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Very nice, Mother. Very nice realization. Thank you very much. Jai.
Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, first of all, I wish everyone very happy Diwali and Govardhan Puja. And I heard everyone's realizations. It's just wonderful. And we learn so much when we actually hear realizations from all the nice devotees here. So everyone spoke about Lord Ram and Sita Maiya's return to Ayodhya. So that's really wonderful, and it's always very joyous moment for all of us. So what I have picked up today is Lord Ramchandra and Sita Mata and all Lakshman ji and everyone came to Ayodhya. It's a joyous moment for the Ayodhya Vasis. But I think the most happier person is Bharat Maharaj, because we just ignore his sacrifices all the time. He was punished, I mean, just a punishment, whatever it seems to us, to me. He has done nothing wrong at all, and he was not even aware of it, that he is getting punishment for whatever he has not done. But the tapasya he has done for 14 years is so marvelous, and that is the a devotee has to do so much tapasya, so much he has to remember Lord all the time, and then Lord appears in his heart. So I would like to share this. I'll just read the translations, and this is from Bhagavatam, chapter 9, Canto 9, chapter 10, verse 34. Upon reaching Ayodhya, Lord Ramchandra heard that in his absence, his brother Bharat was eating barley cooked in the urine of a cow, covering his body with the bark of trees, wearing matted locks of hair, and lying on a mattress of kusha. The most merciful Lord very much lamented this. And the next verse as well. When Lord Bharat understood that Lord Ramchandra was returning to the capital Ayodhya, he immediately took upon his own head Lord Ramchand's wooden shoes and came out from his camp at Nandigram. Lord Bharat was accompanied by ministers, priests, and other respectable citizens, by professional musicians vibrating pleasing musical sounds, and by learned brahmanas loudly chanting Vedic hymns. Following in the procession were chariots drawn by beautiful horses with harnesses of golden rope. These chariots were decorated by flags with golden embroidery and by other flags of various sizes and patterns. There were soldiers bedecked with golden armor, servants bearing betel nut, and many well-known and beautiful prostitutes. Many servants followed on foot, bearing an umbrella, whisks, different grades of precious jewels, and other paraphernalia befitting a royal reception. Accompanied in this way, Lord Bharat, his heart softened in ecstasy and his eyes full of tears, approached Lord Ramchandra and fell at his lotus feet with great ecstatic love. So a true devotee who is just focused on the lotus feet of the Lord. He has devoted his whole life, his everything to Lord Ram. And when he sees Lord Ram appeared before him, we can imagine his ecstasy. So that is applicable to all the devotees, wonderful devotees, whosoever is searching for Krishna or Lord Ramchandra to appear in his heart. So we are so fortunate that we have got Maha Mantra given to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and actually got available to us, to me especially, by the devotees and Srila Prabhupada, because I never knew about this. And if we chant sincerely the Maha Mantra, I think it is the wonderful thing which can bring Lord Krishna in our heart. So that is my realization for this week. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mother. Hare Krishna, for a nice realization. I've got something here. Mukunda has written, I want to bring Govardhan Shila in my home. If it is appropriate, how can I do? And I also want to know if there's any instruction by Srila Prabhupada in worshipping Govardhan Shila. We'll talk separately, Mukunda Prabhu. If you have to worship any Govardhan Shila and all, it requires a lot of austerity and a lot of penance. I know many devotees have this desire for doing this, but it's not very easy. Maybe Avinash Prabhu will speak to you, He'll explain to you. Thank you very much for asking. Would you like to share realizations now? Anyone else? Other yourself, Mukunda Prabhu, anybody else, please? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Sorry, Mukunda was saying something? Sorry, what?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Am I audible to you? Okay. No, I don't have any realizations. I have a very basic realization. But इस बार मैंने दिवाली जैसा विनाश कृष्ण प्रभु ने मुझे कहा था, मैंने वैसा बनाने का कोशिश किया, और मैंने बुक्स पढ़ी और कुछ आचार्य को याद किया कि जिन्होंने हमें कृष्ण और राम दिए. सो आई सेलिब्रेट इन दिस वे, एंड मुझे अच्छा लगा कि मतलब मैं नहीं तो पहले तो दिवाली फायर क्रैकर ये सब चीज़ों भी बनाता था, जैसा पार्थ प्रभु ने कहा कि दुनिया, और शीतल प्रभु जी ने भी कहा कि जैसे दुनिया जैसे बना रही है वो आपको चाहती है कि तुम भी वैसा ही बनाओ. बट ऐसा मैंने बिल्कुल ये राइट है, बट मुझे फ़ायदा मिला कि मैं अविनाश कृष्ण प्रभु और आप सबके सेंटर में हूँ. तो इस बार मैंने प्रभुपाद की बुक्स पढ़ी और दामोदर लीला के बारे में पढ़ा, और इससे मुझे बहुत मतलब मैं अभी एक बुक पढ़ रहा था तो उसमें श्रीला प्रभुपाद ने लिखा कि आपको आपकी भक्ति का जो आपकी भूख मतलब जैसे आपको आप अपनी भक्ति को कैसे मेजर कर सकते हो कि वो आपकी फुलफिल हो रही है, तो वो आपको ऑटोमेटिकली वैसे ही पता चल जाएंगे जैसे आप खाना खाते हो और आपका पेट भर जाता है. तो उसी तरीके से फिर मुझे उस दिन लगा कि शायद मैंने अब जाके दिवाली बनाई और मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा. तो आई सेलिब्रेट इन स्मॉल वे, but chanting the holy name and by reading Srila Prabhupada books. So I think this is and remembering Acharya is most important and very thing. I think this is the correct way of celebrating Diwali or any festival. So, thank you.
Yes, very good. Very nice. Very nice. And we're not dependent on anybody else, we can do it ourselves. Who's stopping us from reading Prabhupada's books? Who's stopping us from writing Gita? Nobody. Very good. We want to run here and there. So it's very nice. This is best.
और आपने आज एक बहुत अच्छा पॉइंट बताया, मुझे मतलब मैं इस पर मेडिटेट करूंगा कि एक शो कॉन्शियसनेस एंड एक एक्चुअल शो सीरियसनेस एंड एक्चुअल सीरियसनेस. तो मुझे भी ऐसा लगा कि कई बार हम लोग कहीं जाते हैं तो हम लोग लोगों को बताना चाहते हैं कि हम भक्ति में सीरियस है, बट एक्चुअली वी आर नॉट. तो मुझे अभी ऐसा लग रहा था, तो इसलिए फिर मुझे ये अब मुझे ऐसा लगा कि नहीं, इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट नाउ टू मेक अ होम अ टेम्पल. तो सीरियसली थैंक यू ब्रो. हरे कृष्ण.
बिल्कुल सही बात है. Very nice. We go everywhere, our home should be temple. That is the most important thing. And do not depend upon anybody else for bhakti. Prabhupada is there, Prabhupada's teachings are there, and like-minded seniors are there from whom you are learning, you know. So please follow. You're very satisfied. Very nice. Krishna wants, everything will happen. Satisfaction is the most important thing. You know, do your work, do your japa, finish your life. Khatam. Jai. Jai. Yeah, please, anybody else, please, want to say something?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I just wanted to say that, as rightly pointed out, that we have to, we are talking about Lord Ram. We have to, of course, thank Srila Prabhupada for making us realize this and to bring us to Lord Ram. And I was just thinking that tomorrow is Srila Prabhupada's Disappearance Day. And, when it's Janmashtami, the next day of Janmashtami is Srila Prabhupada's Appearance Day. And for great personalities, like Srila Prabhupada, Appearance Day, Disappearance Day is the same for us. So from my perspective, I think that, when it's Janmashtami, then obviously we're thinking so much about Lord Krishna. We're trying to think about Lord Krishna, and Diwali is always think about Lord Ram. And then the next day, because as per Tithi, it always falls on the day after the Govardhan Puja, the Diwali day. So it's also very, very important for us to remember the most important personality who actually made us aware and conscious of Lord Ram and Lord Krishna, Srila Prabhupada. And then, of course, in the same spirit, our dear spiritual master and all the great Vaishnavas and all the great devotees. Hare Krishna.
Yes, absolutely correct. Absolutely right. It's half-day fast tomorrow as well. So you observe half-day fast and celebrate Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Disappearance Day. Hare Krishna. Anyone wants to say anything else? Priyanka, anybody? Or Suchi? Or
Ji Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Shuchi here. Actually, the one point that I was impressed with, everything was amazing, and I was hearing everybody so cleanly, and I got so much amazed that such an amalgamation of love and knowledge is there, and so blissful it is to hear everybody's realizations. And but one point that you pointed out, Prabhuji, was you told that we celebrate every festivals in the temple, and then we try to party with God. We try to make utsava with God. And in regards to that, there was a Govardhan Puja at the Nagpur Iskcon temple, but I wasn't able to be there. But at our house, we have deity worshipping at our house, and we tend to make Govardhan Parvata in our house and try to celebrate Govardhan Leela and Puja and do Kirtan, as we are from Pushti marks. So that is something that I appreciate, that even though you cannot go to temple for some reason, or you cannot enjoy and be part of a temple, but you tend to celebrate, and you tend to show your love towards God, and that is what is needed. That is what is your duty towards Krishna, and the love and the knowledge you gain.
very nice. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And once you cook yourself, you're doing everything yourself, with the family, everybody's involved. There's Govardhan Shila also there, you're worshipping it. So yes, the temple or association of devotees is there. But here also you're enjoying with Krishna, you're serving Krishna directly, So if you can go, well and good. If you can't go, no problem. Bhakti should never be stopped. It's very, very important. Yes, we associate with devotees is very important.
That's the point. Yes.
Very nice. All the best. All the best.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, anybody else I want to share some things, but anyone want to say something, please, if you can.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for your wonderful realizations. I just would like to share a very practical, not realization, but like what happened to my workplace. As we were just preparing, we had like a mixture staff of from all the countries at my workplace. And one of my workmates, she was from Egypt. And then she started asking me that, okay, so I have been hearing about Diwali for many years, but I never knew that why you celebrate it, because no one told her. People only told her about that we just lightening the lamps and we just distribute sweets and all that, but no one told her. So she was asking me, and then I was supposed to like told her the whole story, and then I just took my time and I explained her that how it's related to Lord Ram, and how Lord Ram, Sita Lakshman went to exile for 14 years, came back, and it was dark night, and then that time all the like villages, they lightened the lamps. So she was very firstly amazed to hear about like, okay, it is related to your Lord, that's why you celebrate it. So, and then I realized that even even when I was in India, I never tried to emphasize on like the real meaning and why we are celebrating. It's also more about distributing sweets and lighting lamps and all that. But you know how we have been practicing this philosophy for so many years. It's such a good experience with us, and it's such a enlightening that we actually think about philosophically. We actually think philosophically about everything, that why we are doing things. So, and then after explaining her all that, and she was very happy to know that at least someone told me about it. And she said like she now have more respect about our festival, that there is a strong reason why we are celebrating it. And so I realized that how important is that, even not for just for us, but for everyone else, that to know things practically, to know why we are doing anything. So yeah, so that's my realization, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yes, very nice, mother. Thank you very much. Because nowadays there was some Halloween festival also. What is the festival? There's nothing, man. If they dress like demons, man. And there's no story behind it. At least we've got Ram, All our festivals are based upon God, Vishnu. There everything is based upon hodgepodge things, And they're so proud about it. Look at my photograph. Look at my girl. She looks like a witch. Man, if I had a girl and she looked like a witch, I would actually die, I would have heart fail. But nothing. I could have just fainted out. Heart would stop beating, I don't want to live, finish. Or my son, look, he's looking like a Dracula or somebody, So what? Like a Dracula. Oh God, So it is best. This is the point, This is the point. You must understand. It's our dharohar. We are not unnecessarily proud about it, but we are transcendentally proud. This is a heritage. We must always remember it's our heritage. We have inherited it from our ancestors. Our parents may not be able to give us this information. If they're giving us, well and good, very good. If they can't give, no problem. But everybody else is parents, Shastra is a parent, So they are giving us information. So learn this. It's very nice and share with people. It's best. Best. And be very proud about this. Don't be puffed up, but be transcendently proud, about this. Yes. And when non-Indians, Westerners follow our religion or culture, that is something to be proud about. We are born in this, Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Priyanka, want to say something? Okay. I would like to share a couple of points um, as part of my realization and our training process. So what happens? I came across this too in my studies. It was very nice. I said I must share it. It helps me. It will help. So what happens to those devotees? Are we purified devotees? Are we pure devotees? We remember Krishna all the time? No. Do we want to remember Krishna all the time? Yes, we want to remember Krishna all the time. Do we want to give up material things and surrender only to Krishna, everything? Yes, we want to. Are we able to do this? No. So it's a dilemma, right? It's a problem. It's a big problem. So what happens to this? What happens in this situation? How does Krishna sees this? He knows, no? He's sitting in our heart. So this is what he does. This is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Madhya Leela. These two verses are very nicely done. I'll share these verses. So Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing and saying this. Krishna kahe, ama bhaje, mage vishaya sukha, amrita chori visha mage, e bada murkha. So Krishna kahe, so Krishna is saying, ama bhaje, he worships me. So Krishna says, if one engages in my transcendental loving service, but amma bhaje, worships me, mage, but requests, he's worshipping but still requests. What? Vishaya sukha, material happiness. Are we here? Are we this? Yes, we are this. So Krishna is saying, he worships me but he requests material happiness. He's saying, amrita chadi, giving up nectar, Visha mage, he begs for poison, Krishna is saying. E bada murkha, he's a great fool. Tell me, does this relate to us? Raise your hands. This is us. This is us. Now, this is Krishna himself saying. Now, what does he say? How does he look at it? Understand this? Two very nice points. Let's continue. So Krishna is saying that, Krishna says his translation, if one engages in my transcendental loving service, but at the same time wants the opulence of material enjoyment, he is very, very foolish. Say bada murkha. Indeed, he is just like a person gives up ambrosia to drink poison. So he's giving up nectar to drink poison. Okay, now what does he do? So what does he do? He says, Ami vigna, ei murkhe vishaya kena diba, swa charanamrita diya vishaya dulaiba. So he's saying, Ami means I, vigna means very intelligent. I'm all intelligent. Is it not so? He says, I'm very intelligent. Ei murkhe vishaya kena diba. Say, ei murkha, unto this foolish person who wants to serve him at the same time want to materially enjoy. Vishaya means material enjoyment. Kena diba, why should I give? He's saying, why should I give him this? He's asking for this. He's loving me, but asking me for this. Why should I give? A good question, no? And he says, I'm very intelligent. Krishna is saying this, How cute, So he says, why should I give? Swa charana amruta. So the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet, diya, giving, vishaya, the idea of material enjoyment, dulaiba, I shall make him forget. So he takes control. What does he say? If I say, why should I give? First he's saying. Then he's saying, the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet, swacharana amruta, giving, I'll give, he's saying, diya, vishaya, the idea of material enjoyment, dulaiba, I shall make him forget. So tell me, before we come to translation, what did you understand? What is Krishna saying here? It's very straightforward. What is Krishna saying here?
It's pretty straightforward, Prabhuji, because he understands our dilemma.
Yes.
And he's actually, as you said, he takes control, he's actually giving the mercy by making you forget all this. So you can rightly engage.
Yes. He's saying, I'm very intelligent. That's the first thing he's saying. He is foolish. That's all about. I'm very intelligent. So why should I give him this? Rather, I will give him higher taste of my lotus feet and he will forget his material enjoyment. Let's come to translation. So, here, since I am very intelligent, Krishna is saying, why should I give this fool material prosperity? Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment. So this is how it is. Prabhupada says that if a devotee maintains some material desire and at the same time very sincerely desires to engage at the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna may directly give him unalloyed devotional service and take away all his material desires and possessions. This is the Lord's special favor to devotees. Otherwise, if one takes to Krishna's devotional service but still has material desires to fulfill, he may become free from all material desires, as Dhruv Maharaj did, because he went to become more prosperous than even his grandfather, Brahma. He said his father rejected him. He said, "Wow, I want to have kingdom of more than my father's father also, and his father also." He's saying, he said, "I want a bigger kingdom than Uttanpad, and bigger kingdom than his father also, who is Swayambhuva Manu, and his father also, Brahma." That's why he went to Krishna. He said, "Where is Krishna? Show me Krishna. I want this. What I want to do? What should I do? Okay, I'll do it." So he stopped eating, stopped breathing, everything he stopped. And when Krishna came in front of him, Lord Vishnu came, he said, "Oh my God, I was looking for I was looking for glass, piece of glass. I've got a diamond. I don't want anything. Don't worry, Krishna, I don't want any of these things. I've seen you now is best." You see? But Krishna says, "No problem. You get my devotional service, but I will also make you. Your desire is what? You want to become greater, materially opulent than your father, Uttanpad. Whose father? Swayambhuva Manu. Whose father? Brahma. Here, I give you my kingdom," he says. So the Dhrutara, North Pole, half is with Dhruv Maharaj, half is with Lord Vishnu, Kshirodakshai Sai Vishnu. This is that mercy which Krishna is talking about. So, but this may take some time, Srila Prabhupada says, However, if a very sincere devotee wants only Krishna's lotus feet, Krishna directly gives him the position of Shuddha Bhakti, unalloyed devotional service. So at least our desire should be this. Good thing, no? So nice. We should give something. Krishna gives some gift of bhakti in Diwali, So we get some inspiration. Now, another point which I came across, which was very, 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 very nice. It is this, that great people, materially also and spiritually also, these great people, they always accept suffering voluntarily of other people, general mass of people who are foolish people. Because they are like cats and dogs, Just like parents, when their children are not very intelligent, the parents quietly, take pressure of them, What to do? He's not clever. So I should keep quiet, I should absorb, tolerate. So similarly, great personalities in this world, be it material or spiritual, they are very compassionate, and they voluntarily accept the difficulties of other people. This is very nicely given in this particular verse. I'll just read the verse with the purport and translation. I came across this and I thought I must share. It's very beneficial, very helpful. Yes, we come here now, quickly. So this is the verse. Tapyante lokatapena sadhavaha prayasho janaha paramaradhanam tadhi purushasya khilatmanaha. So here, lokatapena. Tapena means suffering. Tapyante means voluntarily suffering. Okay? One who suffers voluntarily. Lokatapena, because of the suffering of the people in general. Sadhava, such saintly persons. Prayashaha, say almost always, see, say almost always, Janaha, such persons, Parama Aradhanam, the topmost method of worshipping the Lord, that activity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purushasya, Akhila Atmanaha, who's the super soul of everyone. So let's come to translation. So it is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. Who far out. So tomorrow onwards, you tell people, you rascal, I'll suffer because of you. Yeah, drink poison. Does this mean? No. You have to be clever in this. Now the answer for us and our focus in life and our preaching comes from the purport of Prabhupada. Just read the purport and that's it. It's self-explanatory, okay? So Prabhupada writes this here. I can read again the translation. It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. Not that people who just suffer, they become great devotees for other people. That's not the case. Let's read it very carefully. Here is an explanation of how those engaged in the activities of the welfare of others are very quickly recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 68 and 69, Ya idam paramam guhyam madbhakteshu abhidhasyati nacha tasman manushyeshu kaschinme priya kruttamaha. So, one who preaches the message of Bhagavad Gita to my devotees is most dear to me. No one can excel him in satisfying me by worship. Oh, so what is saying? One who preaches the message of Bhagavad Gita to my devotees is most dear to me. No one can excel him in satisfying me by worship. There are different kinds of welfare activities in this material world, but the supreme welfare activity is the spreading of Krishna consciousness. This is supreme welfare activity. Other welfare activities cannot be effective, for the laws of nature and the results of karma cannot be checked. It is by destiny or the laws of karma that one may suffer or enjoy. For instance, if one is given a court order, he must accept it, whether it brings suffering or profit. Similarly, everyone is under obligation to karma and its reactions. No one can change this. This is therefore the Shastra says. Therefore, the Shastra says. One second, please. Therefore, the Shastra says, Tasyaiva hetoho prayateta kovido, na labhyate tad brahmatam uparayadha. Uparayadha. Bhagavatam 1:5-18. One should endeavor for that which is never obtained by wandering up and down the universe as a result of the reactions of karma. What is that? One should endeavor to become Krishna conscious. If one tries to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, he should be understood to be performing the best welfare activity. The Lord is automatically very pleased with him. The Lord is pleased with him. What is left if the Lord is pleased with him, what is left for him to achieve? If one has been recognized by the Lord, even if he does not ask the Lord for anything, the Lord who is within everyone supplies him whatever he wants. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Tesham nitya bhayuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. 922 Bhagavad Gita. Again, as stated here, tapyante lokatapena sadhavaha prayasho janaha. The best welfare activity is raising people to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Since conditioned souls are suffering only for the want of Krishna consciousness, the Lord Himself also comes to mitigate the suffering of humanity. Yeah? Krishna Himself comes for this reason, right? He says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya ch dushkritam dharma samsapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, in a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I advent myself millennium after millennium. That's why Lord Ram also came for the same reason. See, Krishna appears only for these two reasons: annihilating the miscreants, merciful to devotees, and re-establishing religious practice. So all the Shastras conclude, therefore, that spreading Krishna consciousness movement is the best welfare activity of the world, because of the ultimate benefit this bestows upon the people in general. The Lord very quickly recognizes such service performed by a devotee. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So now you understand preaching is not more important for what reason? There's a reason here. So with these two verses, we should get confidence that Krishna knows in our heart what is going on. And at the same time, if we are engaged in preaching Krishna consciousness, not whimsically, not on our own just like that. No. Preaching is always done when you're qualified and under proper guidance. Preaching cannot be done independently. And preaching is never done by you. It's always done by your superiors. Always. Ultimately, Srila Prabhupada are preaching this message, and we are just via medium, if at all. And we are just transparent medium. Don't interfere in message of Prabhupada. That's the thing. Okay, Hare Krishna. So I think with this, we will conclude today's meeting and discussion. Wishing again everyone very happy Diwali and Govardhan Puja. Now, whose turn is it today to sing? Is Navina's turn? There she is. Yeah, come. Start singing, okay?
Prabhu, I just got an idea. When Subi and we can sing the Maharaj. The first time she can sing and the next time I can sing.
So you want to sing twice?
We'll discuss the idea later.
Okay, you sing now. Sing now.
Maharaj, please hear us.
Maharaj, please hear us.
We have learned some real good stuff.
We have learned some real good stuff.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
And today for you we will sing.
Today for you we will sing.
If our room is clean,
If our room is clean,
then our mind is clean.
then our mind is clean.
If our mind is clean,
Our mind is clean.
we can do anything.
You can do anything.
If our room is dirty,
If our room is dirty,
then so are we.
then so are we.
And if we are dirty
We are dirty.
and not happy,
We're not happy.
wasting time
Wasting time
is the greatest crime.
is the greatest crime.
Because wasted time
Because wasted time
means a wasted mind.
is the wasted mind.
So best use your time
So best use your time
when you're in your prime.
when you're in your prime.
And your whole life
And whole life
will be sublime.
will be sublime.
If your wealth is gone,
If your wealth is gone,
then there's nothing wrong.
then there is nothing wrong.
But if your health is gone,
Health is gone,
that's a different song.
that's a different song.
But if your character dies,
If your character dies,
then the world will cry.
then the world will cry.
Only saintly behavior,
Saintly behavior,
that's humanity thrive.
as humanity thrives.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We must always remember Krishna
We must always remember Krishna
and never forget him too.
and never forget him too.
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
How are we to practice this with so many things to do?
That is the greatest question.
That is the greatest question.
And here is the greatest clue.
And here is the greatest clue.
You must learn to work so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
You must work so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
So listen very closely
So listen very closely
and make your thinking sharp.
and make your thinking sharp.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
Learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
If something's due tomorrow,
If something's due tomorrow,
finish it today.
finish it today.
And whatever's due today,
And whatever's due today,
do it now, don't delay.
do it now, don't delay.
Your friends might be lazy
If your friends might be lazy,
or doing bad things,
doing bad things,
but if you think again,
but you think again,
don't follow them,
don't follow them,
and you will win the end.
and you will win then.
Whatever work we given,
Whatever work we given,
we do our very best.
we do our very best.
We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest.
We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest.
This is how to live, to work and to play. If you learn to live this way, we'll see Krishna every day.
This is how to live, to work and to play. We learn to live this way, we see Krishna every day.
And when our time is up, we take us up above. We sing and dance with him with the hearts full of love.
And when our time is up, he'll take us up above. We'll sing and dance with him with our hearts full of love.
So chant Krishna's names, his glories and his fame is the only way this world you can never become same.
So chant Krishna's names, his glories and his fame. This is the only way this world will ever become same.
Now please ask this greatest question
Now please ask this greatest question
and find this greatest clue.
and find this greatest clue.
You can only remember Krishna
You can only remember Krishna
if Krishna remembers you.
if Krishna remembers you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Holiness Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Gaurchandra Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Diwali Mahotsav ki Jai. Shri Govardhan Mahotsav ki Jai. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week, Krishna willing. Next week, same place, same time. Till then, chant Hare Krishna and be happy and spread the holy names wherever we go. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.